Where are you right now?
At a friend's house.
Oh, that's cool.
We're having a party.
Excuse me.
Oh, cool. You actually, wow, you actually, okay, am I like interrupting or something? Or?
No, you're interrupting nothing. You are the king. You are the reason for the season, buddy.
Oh, okay. Wow. Jeez, thanks. Who is it? Who's your friend?
My friend's name is Tasha. They are lovely.
I'm
We are
actually
in
his
love.
girlfriend, so I'm pretty offended.
I'm offending them right now by removing 4 letters in front of the word friend.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
My squirrel friend. They are a squirrel.
Tell her enchante.
Hey.
Hi.
There. Oh, they said hi.
Great.
They have hairless cat. Have you ever seen a hairless cat?
No. She has a hairless. Can you show me?
Yeah, let's see it. Can we do that? Can you see it?
Yeah. That's
they're wearing- Have you ever? Oh man, hairless cats look so ridiculous, and their skin feels so disgusting.
Hey,
It's so weird. I love them, but they're so weird.
well, have you ever seen that? Like, what was
It's
it?
like a horse with no flesh.
Man, have you seen the bears that are hairless?
There's hairless bears.
Yeah, well, when at, like zoo, I don't know what happens, but it's always because of like sickness. But man, they look.
Okay.
The fur definitely makes them look fluffier.
Like we're not just talking about like balding, heavy-set gay guys. They're like
No, I was talking about
hairless
the animal.
bears at the zoo.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I meant the bear, the animal. Yeah. It's funny how we have English is one of the most vague. Okay, so this sounds pretentious, but the more French I learn, the more I'm like, wow, it's actually like French is a very specific language. That's why it's kind of annoying. Like there is like a verb for like now I'm gonna forget everything I've ever learned now that I'm trying to explain it to someone. But there's like 20 ways to say you, like very specific, like toi, vous. There's like a higher form, a lower form.
Absolutely.
There's like a you as in a group of people, and there's you as in a you. There's you as in it's like your property, and like I don't know. There's a lot of But then every verb change it. Like if I said you and I should run to the store, the word in French "run" would change. Based on like what if it's you, we, me, we, or I. Which is annoying, but then it makes it more specific. But like the whole bear, that could mean like 2 different things, or the double entendre, where there's triple.
But would mean that in French.
Maybe, I don't know. No, it actually blew. Like I felt really dumb, but like at first when I was learning French, I thought it would be like a word for word translation. I don't know why, but
no, they care a lot about gender and
which you're supposed to not these days.
And of course not. Like the French are historically unwoke. Like
I get that here.
Just grammatically, they're not woke. How do you function in a French society when you're dealing with gender dysphoria? Like I don't know if I'm an il or an elle.
I don't know how to answer that, because the one part that I don't think I'll ever get about French is I always use the wrong gender for shit, but people here seem to not care. Well, because they know. Or if I use a wrong verb conjugation, they tend to not care. They might correct it and be like, oh, by the way.
You probably very much sound like an English-speaking person trying to speak, and you're probably better than a lot of the tourists that they are around when they have to do that.
The first sign, well, I guess like you throw so many hours into something and it feels like I'm not getting anywhere, but then it's like I realize, oh, I'm way better at it than I was last month. But I actually worked with some guys when I was on Transformers. I worked with some dudes from Toronto that got flown in because there's a bit of a labor shortage these days with everything. Yeah. No one wants to work, but who knows?
More for you.
Yeah. But I felt like they thought I was a local at first because I understood everything that, like all the basic things. Yeah. Or at least I understood what was going on. I wasn't totally lost because everyone was speaking French. I just kind of knew the routines and the cue words and stuff. So I was like, oh, shit, I know a lot more than these guys. And I was where those guys were like 2 years ago or 1 year ago. So, yeah. I don't really like talking about me though. So
I like talking about you. You're the coolest.
Yeah. I'm trying to quote Don Draper a lot these days. I'm like, I'm from the Midwest. I don't talk about myself.
Nice.
I don't know if that's a Mad Men thing.
Yeah, crazy males. I've never seen Mad Men.
Oh, really? It's about. I think you'd like it. It's about a very wonderful time in the world.
Yeah, the 60s.
I'm joking, but yeah, no, it's just like kind of like funny.
Men were men and women were secondary.
Yeah, and when it just, I'm not okay. Don't take that out of context.
I don't believe this. This is not what I believe. This is what the world of Mad Men was, and I don't believe that's a great time. But let's tell it for what it is. You know.
Yeah. Well, like now, if a girl was like, "Oh, don't ask me, I'm just a girl," like she'd obviously be saying that ironically, but
I just assume she'd be quoting The Simpsons and.
Yeah, or
Malibu
something like
Stacy.
that.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Malibu Stacy.
Yeah.
Don't ask me.
No, but it was like, it's just like almost, the one thing I see in that show, not to sound woke or anything, but it's just like, holy shit, like all the guys on top, they're just sitting there drinking wine, having an amazing time, while like there's like all these like black service workers working really hard, and their female secretaries are going hard and doing all the work, and they're just like sitting around like, look at this great idea I had.
The guys just come and talk with a drink and tell people to do stuff. Tell the secretary to get other people to do stuff.
Yeah, make sure this guy has a drink too, and it's just like Jesus, whatever. No, and it's just like there's scenes where it's like they're at a picnic. And they're just throwing trash everywhere, and they leave the trash out everywhere. It's like, I guess they did do that back then. And even here, coming from like Western Canada to here, and not to like, there's a lot of if I feel like I'm in a different country compared, like, which I'm not, but it feels like Quebec is, I feel like I could have moved to Texas, and Texas would be more like Manitoba than Quebec is.
Absolutely. The streets have like lanes in Texas, I'm sure. Montreal's driving and stuff.
One of the first things I was annoyed of is that I couldn't just like park my car and leave it somewhere. Like in Winnipeg, you could park your car somewhere and leave it there for a week, I'm pretty sure. Like it's very probably not. Maybe I didn't live in Winnipeg that long. I grew up outside of Winnipeg. I always had a parking spot in Winnipeg.
Yeah, you could park your car where you grew up and leave it for years, and no one would ever know that there was a car ever parked there.
Yeah, but I found even when parking on the street in Winnipeg, it was easier because it was like only 1 or 2 days a week you couldn't park or something because of street cleaning. But here it was like every second day you couldn't park on a certain, like I constantly had to move my car, and this was during COVID, so I didn't really have a full-time job yet. So I found like, and I had a big douchey truck, so then the streets were not made for it, and it stuck out like half of my truck stuck out wherever I parked, and it was ridiculous. And even I have an SUV here, like a Pathfinder, which is like a small mom car in Manitoba, but in Quebec it's like a huge car. Yeah, everyone here drives like micros and
you're really taking up a lot of space out there, buddy.
Yeah, really mansplaining. I'm like, I'm from the West, and I wear a big Alberta.
I have trucks.
I wear a big Alberta belt buckle, and
like you like in Winnipeg, even though everyone drives trucks and stuff, they're considered, trucks still have the reputation for being douchey.
Yeah.
Like how much more douchey do you think that everyone around you, and they're probably using a word that you don't know yet to describe it, and you're probably hearing the word like watermelon or something, and you're thinking, oh, I wonder why they talk about watermelons, but it's really the French for what they think in your trunk.
Yeah, it was weird because I live in the suburb I first lived in here. I guess it was more English, and it was weird because it was like third day in, and obviously I give off a very non-French Canadian vibe. I guess at first I've really stuck out. I don't know if I fit in more than I did 2 years ago, but this guy came up to me and he started ranting to me about how he hates French Canadians, and I'm assuming that he assumed I was not from there or something. I don't know, but it was just like, I think you're in the wrong province then, sir.
This place is not built for you.
Yeah, and then he went on about the Chinese and the Jews. It was very...
lovely. I love that.
Yeah, just...
I was in front of Porter's Place a while ago. This guy with a nice red hat that said, I made you look.
Because it looked like a Trump hat.
Like a hat.
It's funny because whenever I see a red hat, with like any text. I look, I'm like, oh shit, are they wearing a MAGA hat?
Was talking about how like there are different types of people, and it's like it's not racist for me to say these things about these people because it's just absolutely true. And like men have to run the household because they don't think with emotions, and you can't hit kids anymore, and that's wild. It's called discipline, and the kids are going crazy because of it. And I hate the liberal government says you can't do it because they're not inclusive, because they don't include me and my opinions. That people should be forced to leave, and men should be able to run everything. Women should be secondary, and I should get to hit them all. Yeah, like so when it's funny. The government let do that?
Because then I hear people like I'll hear like women talking about how like fuck some men are and how men say stuff like this, and I'm like I get okay. So someone said this to me. They're like people do a thing where they assume people are only like 10% worse than you or 10% better than you. Like you think everyone's gonna be around what you think.
Yeah.
And I'm sure me and you could find things we disagree about, but I'm like it's like. A lot of times I hear people saying like people talk like this, and I'm like, there's no way people fucking talk like this. But then I actually see people talking like this. I'm like, oh, okay, there are people that actually talk like this. This is nuts.
Well, there are crazy people in the world, and I don't understand. Makes me sad. Because like I don't. The more I see, the more inflated my ego gets with like how infinitely better of a person I am than absolutely everyone else, you know? When I see that guy, I'm like, wow, you're pure garbage. There are human beings in this world who belong in a dumpster. And that's you.
Yeah.
I don't hat.
Yeah, like I don't like at the same time, I don't think it's bad to be like let's say you were like running a business. Like I don't think it's bad to be like, oh, this area. Okay, so like let's say I was trying to find a franchise and I owned a plot of land, and it's like there's a high number, like people do stats, like there's a high number of indigenous, high number of Caucasian, high number of what X and X and X, and let's say there's like a high number of Filipino people, right? And it's like, sorry, what?
You gotta open a Jollibee.
Or something like that, like to make assumptions like that. That's not like horrible or like bad, but I feel like
market research.
Yeah, I feel like what that guy was talking about was not market research. It was
no.
Well, and then yeah, I don't know, that
hideous opinion.
Well, it's kind of funny because it's like I guess like the opinion I had of like there's obviously like where we come from. People like our dads and grandpa's age seem to hate French Canadians for, I don't know, whatever reason, I guess. I don't know. There seems to be like attention towards Quebec, and I guess wanting to separate and leave kind of didn't help that. But
we felt rejected, you know? We were like, please be a part of our country. And they were like, no, you English swine.
Yeah, exactly.
We're like, it's like getting dumped. And we have
if
to
like a girl kept threatening.
Our girlfriend lives in our basement for the rest of our lives, and she's always threatening to leave, and we're like,
you'd be like, go.
You know, and we got to pretend because like we feel bad because like we carried her around, and she's, you know, she gave us a baby. Like Celine Dion wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Quebec. Yeah. And what would the world be like without Celine? And so we're just like, you know, but then they're always threatening to leave with the kids. Yeah. And it's like, well, we don't leave with the kids, but deep down you're like, well, just go. And they don't actually want to leave because they know that if they go out on this, they're like, well, my economy, I don't have much in the way of an economy. I want to use your dollar still is basically what they say. And it's like, good luck. You don't have oil?
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay. Well, yeah. What was I going to say? No, that's a conversation that gets brought up here a lot. No, but what I like, a lot of people said, oh, like you're not going to make it if you don't speak French. And like, I've had to learn, and I've honestly, like, I noticed some people here get very defensive about, like, I'll never, like, I have a lot of complaints I could have. Like, if any province has pros and cons, there's things I love about Manitoba, but then there's things I'm ridiculous. One thing I miss about Manitoba is MPI. And you might think I'm nuts to say that because a lot of people bash MPI, our public insurance in Manitoba. But the public insurance here has 1,000 more times bureaucracy and is way more complicated to deal with. And I've actually phoned government buildings, and I guess like because it's provincial government, not federal, like they basically say in the waiting message, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, if you're in the English queue, just so you know, we serve French people first and stuff like that. And there's definitely like there is, I thought that a lot of people would be like, oh, they're so prejudiced towards English speakers. And you know what? It's actually like 1 person out of 30 that I meet, and they're like, you should know French and you should learn French. And it's like, what a great idea. Like, I'm not bashing French. I'm not actively not trying to learn French. I'm actually in a goddamn lesson.
I'm currently doing it.
I'm doing like an hour a week of lessons, like with a private tutor, and doing like 30 minutes of Duolingo a day. Like, so I'm going pretty hard at trying to learn it and trying to catch up.
Maybe they're just so French that they're trying to really just nicely say that you should learn French. It's so amazing. You should learn French, but their tone, because their English is probably just as bad as your French is.
Maybe. No, sometimes it's like definitely been that. Like, I definitely have gotten what's a miscommunication and a language barrier. And even like, it's interesting because like my girlfriend now, she, like, people will say something that isn't like how we a native speaker would say it, and not, it probably is still grammatically correct, but not the way it, like, well, the first night we ever slept over, the next day she texted me, she said, you were doing noise last night.
Ooh.
Which is cute. No, I was snoring, not like not like a sexy growl or anything. But it's just like, I'm pretty sure any sentence I can string together, it's just like that too. Like, I probably make 0 sense, or I do make sense, just enough sense. No, but there definitely has been like the odd guy. It's actually mostly been dudes, actually. That, I guess in a way to feel smart, they'll really bash me. Like, I've had 2 people in the 2 years here make fun of me for like how bad my French was, or make fun of me for trying to speak. And it's just like, and then I just like, I've kind of chalked it up to like, they literally have not a lot on me, I guess. And I don't know. It's been like the 2 people that did that were like the 2 dumbest people I've met here as well. So it's kind of like that guy at Portage Place talking about that. Like, he feels very smart saying those things.
Yeah.
And
he just looks like the worst to everyone. He was saying it, like, he was saying stuff, and he mentioned like some very heavy racist stuff. And he was talking to this black kid who was just looking at him, just being like, well, this is awkward. And it was insane.
Well, I know that like a lot of like right-wing views get chalked up to, oh, like being racist or whatever, but I feel like more of what he was saying is actually racist, and like he probably thinks what he says will get chalked up because it's kind of more right-wing or whatever. But you know, like, there's definitely like, and it's like, no, that just sounds stupid what he was saying. So, but that's the thing, though. Maybe I watched too much Joe Rogan, but that's my thing, is I definitely think people like that should get to spout off about those things, because they only make themselves look stupid. I don't think speech like that should get blocked. Like, he shouldn't be censored. He should be able to have a Facebook account and say all those stupid things so that his friends
thank you for outing yourself.
Exactly. And
now we know you're garbage.
But then you can mentally come up with an argument against that. Me and you were talking about it, right? So now we know people like that exist, and we can mentally come up with arguments to kind of combat that. Like, if we didn't know these things exist, then you kind of, if now next time you meet someone like that, you might have a way of dealing with it in your head already, right?
Mm-hmm. But it's best just not engage. Because they also watch too much Steven Crowder, and that guy teaches them how not to fucking argue. Not to argue. I hope that doesn't wreck your podcast.
No, I don't know. That's the thing, though. Like, I actually think some of the things that guy has. Here's the thing. I think I saw this like Reddit. I watch a lot of those videos. Or last summer when I went, all I did was walk. I listened to audiobooks, and if I was wanting to find something like not as intense to listen to, it was like Reddits that were read by the Speechify. It was like Reddit threads, and so it was like a thread of like, what the hell was it? It was like right-wing people, what's your most left-wing view, and left-wing people, what's your most right-wing view, and a lot of stuff. It's like people actually think the same about a lot of things, like. And that's what I don't like, is like, okay, so it's like I'm pro low taxes, and a part of me is like pro gun sometimes, and depending on the situation and context, and it's like, I understand why people are so gung ho about this. The Second Amendment, I think it is. I think it's like, I understand that, and I get their point for fighting for it and arguing for it, but then I'm not for privatization of everything. So like, let's say if I was an American, I don't believe in privatization of healthcare, but I believe in free speech. I believe in the tier 1 health system. Like, I think, like, part of me, like, I don't think, I think privatization of a lot of things is great. Like in Quebec, there's tons of small local businesses, and that's great. Like, there's a big economy for small local things. There's shops that are just cheese, and like where I live, it's very walk friendly, so everywhere has a lot of traffic, so small businesses thrive, right? I'm not a big fan of like huge corporations getting so big, and and like I like Walmart, but I don't like how Walmart, they just started paying, like companies like that should pay a $15 minimum wage, right? Like,
absolutely.
But I don't think super small, but like a guy with a baseball card shop trying to hire like a teenager, I don't think he should have to pay him $15 an hour. But what was I saying? No, sorry. If I was living American, it's like you have to, when you only have two parties to choose from, you never get everything that you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm not. I feel like this talk's getting too pretentious. I'm not trying to sound smart or anything.
Well, you do. So you're succeeding at what you're not wanting to do.
Sorry?
You're succeeding at what you're not wanting to do.
I'm trying to be like Daddy Rogan, where I'm trying to seem like a smart, dumb guy.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about him. I feel like he's like the world's smartest dumb guy. He's just a great listener, and he has smart people on, but he can keep up with people like Elon and converse, I guess. So you're my Elon Musk in this, Chris.
Okay.
No, sorry. My whole point was like, it's like if I were in America, I guess maybe I would. It depends on who's running and stuff, but it's like I think on a lot of things, like I'm for lower taxes, so that would make me Republican. But then I might be voting for someone who's like anti-gay or something. Or what if you're a gay guy who is very business oriented and you're very like anti-socialism? It's like, who do you vote for? So I think it's very not a great system to only have two parties, because it's like, well, how do you? Yeah. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry.
Do you want the government to not be involved, or do you want them to provide you the things you need in your society? It's basically the question between, between PC and NDP and liberal, or in America.
Yeah, but it depends. I actually find like the way Quebec runs, I like it a lot in a lot of different ways. Like, it's very socialistic. It's the most socialistic province in Canada, but at the same time I find, I don't know, like they intervene in certain ways. Like the first 2020 summer I was here, they had like, they're making people wait outside of grocery stores and stuff because like, right? But then when it got too hot, they intervened and they're like, fuck, you're not having old ladies getting heat stroke outside of your store. Like, you have to let people in. Like, we can't have people waiting outside in 35 degrees Celsius heat, like, and getting heat stroke. Like, you know, like, we have to choose our threats. And no, and it's, I wish people talk more about politics without getting heated, and it's just, it's hard. It's I don't like blanket statements. It's like, I do like less government overall, but with certain things, I don't know, like, it's like a lot of my right wing circle friends are people that are more like, that agree with me about lower taxes. They hate healthcare, but I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't think actually I've seen a lot of privatized healthcare here because the systems here get so backed up. What
you got to do is just break their legs.
Yeah, exactly.
And be like, how much did you pay to fix that? And when they say nothing, you'd be like, well, now you're okay.
Yeah, I don't think
you're even with the healthcare system now. You'd have spent $25,000 to fix that broken leg in.
Yeah, so I think the privatized, so when things are privatized, there's a motivation to make money, right? And a motivation to have more of it. So if a prison's privatized, then there's a motivation to have more people. Sorry, what?
Sorry, what were you going to say?
There's a motivation to have people in prison, and like they make money off of every prisoner that's there. So that's not good. And it's just like, I don't like how in America, if you have a criminal record, you're so likely to end up back there. Like, you can't even get, in most states, you can't even get an apartment if you have a criminal record. So it's like, where are you supposed to live? And like, here it's less. But like some places, I think it was like Sweden, and my buddy showed me an article off his phone. So like, it was a video of like, they're just like, the system and mentality there is so much more like we need to rehabilitate this person and get him back into society and make sure he's a good he or she's a good person, and like how can we get this person back into society, because it's such a public system. And like I know like Canada's talked about like our jail system here is like a resort compared to some places in the world, but I've seen these videos where I'm like there's no way, like it seems like hotels really. Yeah, I think it's like Sweden and Switzerland where it's like more than Switzerland. I know Switzerland's not a Scandinavian country, but like the Finland, Sweden, and I probably sound like an idiot how I'm talking, but they see I'm self-conscious. It's my first time recording talking because I know everyone that starts a podcast is like, I must be so intelligent and our conversations are so great. People want to listen to our conversations. So I'm trying to avoid that cliche. But I never try to think I'm smart because literally the 5 dumbest people I've ever met in my life thought they were geniuses and like were self-proclaimed. And so I think you and I know some of these people mutually, and it's just like
I'm probably one of them. Let's be real.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard you say you're a genius, but
Tasha has. So
that's good. She creative genius.
Attest. I am. Let's be real. Just joking. Calm down.
How's your music going?
Music is going good. I don't do the comedy stuff so much, although from time to time I pull it out. But I'm in a band called Homer S. Thompson. Yeah. And I've started a record label called Whore Records. WHO Whore Records. WHO''RE Records. Who are records? We are whores.
Yeah. That's good.
We respect women.
That's good. Well, in that conversation, anyone could be a whore because it could be a guy you're talking about. So it's not really anti-women.
And like, let's be real. And we're all putting we're all selling our bodies for money.
Basically. Yeah. So you get something in your hand or your ear or something, you know? No, I remember like, oh God. I don't know why it was like a mutual, I don't want to name him, but because he was very pro-woman, which is great. But I was showing him a rap song by like a Winnipeg artist, and they were like gangster rap, so talking about bitches and selling drugs, and he was calling out a drug dealer or something, and he was like, instead of selling bricks, you probably suck a lot of dicks, and funny line. And he was like, oh my God, that's such a homophobic line. But it's like, how do you know he's talking about a guy sucking dicks? It could be a girl sucking dicks. And it could be anyone. And I said, are you assuming a woman's not the drug dealer? Are you saying a woman can't be the drug dealer? You had a pre-model in your head and you assumed he was talking about a man being the businessman. No, nice. He was talking about a fellow business competitor, and you assumed it was a man, so it could have been a woman. See, pre-models in her head. I don't know why I brought this. I was just a funny. Well, wasn't a heated discussion, but I was like, he could be talking about a girl, so therefore it's not homophobic.
Yeah, and you're sexist.
Yeah.
How dare you say that women can't do business, or the other thing?
Yeah. What the hell was I talking about?
Great stuff.
This is probably not getting uploaded anyway. We're both making ourselves look ridiculous here, but no, I will.
You look amazing. Look at me. I got a beard. Look at you. You got your sweet hair. You look like a cool kid.
Actually, a little bit of someone's grandma gave me this haircut, and she was a hairdresser like back in the 80s or whatever, and she never did a haircut like this. So I thought it still got it. Yeah. And the last 3 hair. Sorry, what?
Can I just pop in here for a second?
Of course.
So I do a podcast too, and nobody listens to it, but it's super fun. Yeah. It's called Curiosity Killed the Cat. But yeah, just post your stuff anyway. Just feel comfortable with what you're doing, because that's self-love.
I guess. I don't know. I do. No, that's very nice of you.
Masturbation is important.
Yeah. No, the one thing I do, I don't know. I saw a couple YouTube videos where it's like the importance of people talking, and like if you don't talk, like it was actually the great Jordan Peterson. I'm sure your friend likes it.
J to the P.
Yeah, homie Jordy B. No, but he was talking about like the psychology of like how people can get dumber if they stop having conversations with people, and that was his fear of the pandemic, was like people just weren't talking to each other as much and having verbal conversations. And I think it's totally important. Like, I don't know. I think like you could sit and listen to any podcast about anything, and in a way, it makes you more intelligent because it's getting you perspective. I mean, maybe people are going to lose IQ points listening to us two talk, but I don't know.
They're going to gain something different. We don't know what it is, but you always gain something from listening to. Maybe they'll learn these are the ways that I don't want to sound.
Yeah.
And if we have people being like, you got to listen to this and be like the opposite of these guys, you could get a worldwide following.
I honestly, maybe I am like a more negative person and personality or something, but I feel like the best, like, because everyone is like, you got to have a role model, right? And to model your life after, and any self-help thing I've seen on YouTube or book I've read, it's like, you got to have a model. But I swear I do better with like anti-role models, like people that it's like, I do not want to be like this person. Yeah. This person is a goddamn loser. I will do anything. I don't know. I just like, I remember there's just like certain people in high school, like the way they were, the way they talked, or like this guy that like has been at a high school for 6 years and still wears his Letterman jacket. It's like being me in my head being like, I'm going to not be this person. Yeah. I don't want to be as unhappy as this person.
Yeah.
I feel like Curiosity Killed the, what is it, her podcast?
Curiosity Killed the Cat.
Yeah, it's you can go to Snarky's page there for the horror records, and I linked it.
To be honest, I don't follow anything of his. I'm barely on social media, but I'll look it up. Yeah. To be honest, I don't even think you wanted to give me nice advice. You just wanted to pitch your podcast. That's fine. I'm joking.
Yeah.
But how do you guys know each other?
Actually, my neighbor brought me to one of Snarky's shows a couple weeks ago, and yeah,
oh shit! So it's fresh.
Love at first sight.
You want to know something weird? It feels like just yesterday, and so I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm like almost turning 30 soon, so I guess I'm having like that quarter life crisis thing. Maybe you guys are past that, or you haven't hit that yet. But me and Chris met 10 years ago, actually.
That's
weird,
amazing.
Eh? Yeah.
And I think me and Chris were both in a more pretentious. We thought more of ourselves. I think as you age, you think less of yourself or something. You're like, I'm not as successful as I thought I'd be. But fuck, I just like Chris had a very like artsy, and I think I was like 20 more times a douchebag I was back then than I am now. But Chris had like a very like artsy, mystical vibe about him. Like he's like, and now. I feel like we've grown to be better people. Hopefully, I don't know. Like, I remember what happened. Oh yeah, no. That your partner at the time. I remember I was there with a girl, and like he kept making like love songs to her, and like he's like, "This song is for so and so. You're looking good tonight." And it's just like, fucking.
Yeah.
Like,
just hitting on it in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
funny.
Yeah,
it's a story.
Yeah, I mean, it must have worked for you because, like, weren't you like almost her manager for a little bit?
No, I don't know. Like, it's funny because, like, I remember when I threw those little shows, the amount of people that are like, you should manage me. It's like, I don't fucking know anything, like, about anything. I think both. No, he asked me to, but I think.
Oh yeah.
I guess I had a big Facebook following or something at the time. Yeah. Not a big, like 4,000 people followed me, which is like fucking nothing now. But I was good at like throwing little shows and packing very, very small rooms, and not really. I don't think that I was good at convincing other people to bring their friends, because I feel like I didn't have a lot of friends at the time. I had a lot of acquaintances, but I was good at getting friends to bring friends. I don't know. But it's funny, that's a skill that doesn't matter at all, because it's like not that there's any live shows. Or no, you did have a live show. How did that go?
It went okay. We brought some, I managed to bring 8 people to come to my show.
That's a big deal nowadays. So
that's a huge deal. I can't bring anybody. What?
Where was it?
It was at the Goodwill. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It was at. Where was it? Oh, XQ's.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah,
it was awesome.
Is that a newer bar? Because I've been away for 2 years.
Kind of. It's like this little hole in the. I mean, it's been around forever, but it's like a pool hall cafe thing.
Yeah.
Sargent and like Young.
You know what I miss? The Purple Room. I don't know if.
Yeah.
Remember that? Like, sorry, what's your friend's name? Tasha.
Tash.
Tash. Sorry.
That was quite the.
I remember the guy was like the nicest guy that ran that. I forget his Paul.
Yeah,
something.
Paul Little. He's still the nicest guy.
Yeah.
He runs out of XQs now, so.
Oh, that's cool. No, but like, so that whole building, I don't know, it was like 317 Ross or something, but it was like an old factory that's been remodeled for like multiple different things, like 20 different times. But it was an artist space where they rent out artist space by the square foot, and then they gave it to you and they put up like plywood walls. But I remember a lot of people ended up like, instead of sitting there and doing art, they were like living there for like $200 a month, and it was still kind of cool. But then you could go downstairs to the main floor, and then in like a corner of the main floor, there was like this, like, it must have been like a bank or something, or no, it was like where the loading docks of this once factory was made into the Purple Room. It was very nice. Like, the only part about it that was not like that the other venues could like beat them for was like, it wasn't like a bar or something. It was they couldn't serve alcohol. Actually, here, that's a big thing. Like, people can't get licenses for certain restaurants, but then they just make it like bring your own wine or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Tash, what are you into these days? How have you been coping with the COVID?
Honestly, COVID was really, really hard because like I was already a recluse, but it's
we're totally bugging out here right now.
Yeah, it just made it worse. Like, oh dear, I lost it.
Oh gosh.
There we go. Sorry.
We're back.
Yeah, it's good. But no, like getting back into like the music scene and stuff like that made a big, huge difference. I went to Manitoba Loud, which is a new music award show that was hosted by Dagamont at Bulldog Pizza. Yeah. That was super cool. And
I don't know if Chris told you. Sorry. No, I used to be like a super, super douchey promoter. Not like.
Oh yeah.
I was like I don't know. I was. I didn't do as many. I did a couple like DJ events, but I did more like rock and roll events. I used to wear a suit jacket everywhere. I was one of those guys. I was trying to be like Barney from I Met Your Mother or whatever. No, I don't know. What is it? I think the one thing I had going for me is I didn't rip people off as bad as everyone else did. Like, so what my thing was that I did, I'd hire bands. I think a couple times I paid performers, but I would hand out tickets and I'd let them sell the tickets and like keep a portion or like all of it. So like I never paid anyone, but I shared costs. So I'm a communist, really. A cooperative is what.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've heard of my buddies, like they had a band. It was like called Public Parkade. Like I was friends with them at the time, and like promoters, I guess like certain salespeople are so good at like getting you to do something. Like the worst situation I heard of was these guys, they played at a venue and then the promoter made them pay them $500 for the opportunity.
Whoa.
And I was like, man, I've heard about people pulling the whole, it's good exposure, and then they get you to play for free and they get you to bring 10 friends, which is kind of greasy in itself. But getting them, he's like, yeah, we paid $500 and we thought that was the way it worked. It was like, man, I've never done anything that bad. The worst thing I did was I did do a couple times convince people to like play for exposure, and then I like buy them a fucking meal or something, and then I don't know. But then at the same time, as much as like the promoter's doing that, the owner of the venue is not paying them, or the promoter put up his own money or her money to like rent the room for $900. So they're super stressed about trying to feel good about themselves and make any money. So
that's really interesting though, because like what Snarky is doing with Horror Records, he's making music for free for people. So he left the suit at home, and the douchebag stays.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's called being a cuck, but
yeah. I'm a simp
for me, Daddy.
Young lesbians.
Sorry.
It's not like he's
not
lying. This is legitimate. Like
sorry, I tell jokes to make myself laugh, not others. No, that's no. Tell me more about that. Sorry, I'll stop talking about myself. Talk about no, like how does that work? So how does that work? And like, do you keep like a percentage? Like, what are some people you've worked with?
Well, right now, I just decided that I wanted to learn how to. Well, I have all the stuff, and I've always had all the stuff to make my own music and record it properly, and I was like, well, I don't know how to learn and do it, and I also hate the sound of my voice. So then I never want to record my music because I'm like, well, it's going to suck anyway. Why would I learn how to mix on terrible sounding stuff? Then I just started having people like come down and say, I was like, I'll make your songs and I will make them big, and I'll find other people to add other instruments. And there's a bunch of people. I saw myself at 20 where I'm like, I just need someone to notice me. But then they're like, well, you need to record. And it's like, well, I need money to record, or it's not worth it to record because no one's going to like it anyways. And so then, I saw other people who have good stuff and was just like, well, and I'm like, I can be that guy who had to see them. Or I can be that guy who be younger and help me record a demo so that they can show people. And I was like, okay. So then I started doing that, and the quality of the stuff that we've been doing is a little bit better than demo quality.
It's beautiful.
So I managed to get it to the point where it's like, it's decent. We're putting it up. We got some songs up on Spotify already with a few acts. And
like who?
And it's learn how to mix music, and that is super cool. And I got to do that. I get to have friends because the pandemic, man, just being alone. Like for like 6 months, I was alone. I'd go to work, I'd go home, I would walk, maybe I'd go for a walk, but otherwise I'm just sitting in the room being sad and alone, and I text people, and I'm not important. Nobody's caring about me. I was probably a garbage person who burned a lot of bridges, and people are like, oh, he's doing this cycle again where he's texting me as a call for help. I'm going to ignore it.
Hey, maybe that's why we've gotten along for 10 years. No, I don't know. And I think you know this about me. I like to phone people, and that weirds people out. I hate texting.
Terrible. You're the worst.
No, but I think in the pandemic, I phoned you a couple times, and I can never tell. I'm like, is this guy weirded out that I'm phone? Like, I'm pretty sure some people were weirded out that I phoned them, and they're like, no, there's like the odd friend I have that where we can talk for 2 hours. But a lot of people, I guess it's hard to tell if they're getting annoyed or if you're being too needy at the time, or it's hard to read. And no, I don't know. Like, I've definitely had moments where I felt very lonely. I think everyone has. And for some reason, it's like, it's so weird how like everyone can feel so lonely yet be weirded out when someone phones you.
Well, totally. Yeah. It's just phones are the worst.
I'd rather phone people than text. I'm like Chris is I'm a horrible texter. I'm really bad at conveying what I want. I always come across as angry, partially because I am, but maybe my angry face over a video call or over the phone, I calm myself. I don't know. I'm very, I guess when you're like, I think I used to be bad at like blowing up people via text. I don't know if you've ever been at the end of that, but I don't know. Like it's a great way to meet. I'm trying to like meet more people, but it's hard. Actually, I find here in Montreal, people are very more like, oh, let's go for a beer. Let's have, I found, and everyone here that goes to Western Canada says it's hard to make friends. People that have from here that have moved to BC, they always come back, I find, or that's their story. Anyone that I've met that's moved away, they said they've come back because they're like, I found BC was very cliquey and it's hard to make friends. While here, it's like a lot of people are like, oh man, if you want to come meet us in the park for a beer or go for a walk or this or that, like that's awesome. And it's like, oh, okay. But how many people have you worked with for the recordings?
So far, I have made recordings for 7 artists, and I've had probably about 15 people working on these recordings in various ways. Like I've had some people come in and add harp, some people come in and add pedal steel randomly, and have a guy coming in and doing some banjo on some stuff in a couple days. And it's just like, it means I get to hang out with like 15 people who wouldn't bother talking to me in the past.
Well, I don't know. I definitely, I always liked your music.
All right.
It's ridiculous is what it is. So.
I really like, what the hell? I like that cover. And not just because I filmed the video for it, but what is it? Treating it a sweater.
But I made a scarf and bad.
Yeah. No, I've always no. I guess that was like there was a lot of artists in Winnipeg where I like really liked them, and like I was like always like frustrated. Like I wish more people blew up, and like all the people that I thought like were like gonna blow up or go somewhere, it's like they never did. But there was like this like I'm like, there has to be, and I never knew the answer. I wish I knew the answer so I could like tell people, but it's like there's like something missing in the marketing. There's something missing where like I wish there was slightly better at like online presence or something to get bigger. Like
social media is a big part of making it in this day and age, it seems like, and a lot of people don't want to put that effort in.
Well, okay. And even if you look at the way YouTube was, like in 2012, it was like more like comedy. Like my favorite guy was Jimmy Tatro, or actually I did like Jenna Marbles, and that era of YouTube was like building like your own SNL comedy skit. Even if the camera work wasn't great, like people would make a skit almost, and it was like a very good video of a certain kind. And my favorite guy now, or most YouTubers, it's mostly just like reaction, and like there is no effort into it. Like there is an effort, but like not the effort that there was back then. Or content is like the comedy I get. Like I'm starting to feel old because I don't get like the Gen Z type videos, or like their reaction videos, or like I like Cody Ko and I like PewDiePie. Those are the two guys I watch the most. I don't know if
I love PewDiePie. He's funny.
I love him too. I started watching, and I hate being like this, but I think I found him when he was at like 50 million subscribers, so I feel like I found him before the rest of the world did, but that 50 million is still a lot. Cody Ko, he's at like 5 million. He's a Canadian YouTuber. He lives in... I found him when he was at like 20,000 subscribers, so now he's at like 4 million, so feels like I'm a part of it, but I'm not really not. That's a fake sense of entitlement, but yeah. I don't know. No, what was I saying? No, things are like getting quicker, and I think it's more about quantity than it is quality. Like YouTubers used to do one a week, and it was like a pretty solid video. And then it was like the era of like the Jake Paul and Logan Paul. They were just doing like 30-minute videos a day, and they were just vlogs of them walking around and doing nothing and like yelling at people. So I found like I feel like I really did understand like the algorithms of like Facebook and stuff back in like 2012, and like how to generate, like, I don't know, it was like my hobby to try and get like content, or like to generate traffic on like posts. I think the biggest post I had like 500 comments on it on Facebook, just to try and like stir the pot, get people talking. And like I don't know, but I kind of went super off grid. Since 2016 I haven't had like a Facebook, so sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, was I talking about myself too much? Jesus Christ, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I have to go in about like 10, so.
Okay.
I guess that's been my frustration. Sorry, I just went on a huge rant.
That's cool.
No, I just like really... I've been like weirdly frustrated because I have a lot of friends that I thought I really liked their stuff, and I just never got why they didn't blow up and get big. Maybe we're not like pushing out as much content or whatever. Like comedians, musicians, and like I don't any comedian.
I don't have a marketing bone in my body, so I was like, fully why I've never blown up.
Okay, maybe. Has any like
40 people?
Well, we both used to do. Do you still do stand up at all, or?
Oh God, no! That scene is terrible.
Well, we both used to do it, and I was like, I always wondered, did like any guy that I saw or like did open mics with, did they go anywhere? And actually, I used to run into Ryan Ash a lot on set. Like he was an actor on some of the shows that I've worked on. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever run into him since, or.
I haven't run into Ryan Ash. I think he's in Alberta or Saskatchewan now.
Last time I saw him, it was like I was on a show called Burden of Truth, and he was in Alberta, but he flew back for the role or something like that. I don't know. Are you working on a song? Please tell me you're working on songs and stuff. Are you a musician too, Tash? Or?
I'm going to be eventually.
Awesome.
He's just. What did you put out last week? You put out a Homer S. Thompson song.
Yeah, last week I haven't written a song in forever, but I've been recording a lot of them that I haven't never done.
I don't know. I'm not a musician, but me and Chris, we did a song together.
Yeah, I showed them. Booty Go?
That's all. Yeah, that one. Yeah, okay.
They love it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Chris basically wrote that, and I think I wrote like 3 lines, and I gave myself credit as a writer. So
he was really excited to show me that the other day, so that was awesome.
No, it's like super catchy, and I'm like, and like the recording, I really like. Here's the thing: I can't tell if recordings are good or bad. But I did like that one. I don't know. I don't have the snobby ear for the quality's good. That's the thing though. Like I hate how people obsess over like quality of certain things. Like, the biggest YouTuber in the world has like a camera and all the comments are about like how shitty his camera quality is. But I find people say, "Oh, I don't have a good enough equipment," or "It's not good enough," and then they like procrastinate and they never do anything. Yeah. I think it's better to just do stuff, and that like you said, like it's like self-love to put out art. But I found like a lot of my friends that were really good, they would really procrastinate because of perfectionism and like it's not good enough. It's not. So I think there's a delay, so I low-key keep cutting you off. Sorry, what were you trying to say?
He's in the basement, that's why.
Yeah, probably yes.
I totally forgot what you just said too. I had something to add to it, but I don't remember.
Perfectionism.
Perfection. That's a big thing with my art. Like I was telling Chris yesterday, I think, I do a lot of art with my non-dominant hand because it triggers a different part of your brain. And then you're just like, okay, so this sucks, but it looks amazing. And yeah, it's anti-perfectionism practices.
Yeah. Well, I got really into like skateboarding again, but it's like I went at it like a different way of like, because I just don't care if I'm good or not, and it made it fun. So then I was like more into it, and then I like got better and better and better at it, like to a point where I'm like, okay, yeah, this is actually kind of cool that I've progressed. But it's because I didn't like overthink it. Like with certain sports and stuff, I took it I was on like Team Manitoba or like no, it was called Team Winnipeg. That's what it was for like track and field. And I took it like I was training 7 days a week, and I took it like so god awfully serious, and it wasn't like fun anymore. And yeah, like so you lose interest. What else? Oh no, I've gone to those pain classes, and I've just not fucking cared if it's good or not. And then I relax and I have fun, and then it turns out like okay, that's what I like. Yeah, I don't know. I find what was that saying? It's like people procrastinate too because it's like they think they want some motivation to come along too. But I find like if you just do something, then you get into it, you get motivated. If you're like, oh, I'm gonna read like 1 page of a book, and then you end up reading 30 because you got into it. But then it's like that hurdle of starting. You don't do it because it's like I shouldn't, like I don't know, it won't be like, even like with reading, I've had that thought where it's like, oh, this reading session won't be as good or fun because I won't be into it, which makes like 0 sense. Or it's like people that are super into the gym, if you just get there, even if you're not into it at the moment, you'll get, and you just do some things and you'll get into it. Like the action brings motivation, not motivation brings action. Sorry, and then that's my speech where I'll feel smart about myself for ranting about no, what do you have a photo of it, or what kind of stuff do you do, Tash, for like like drawing with your non-dominant hand? Or
Tash, what do you have a video of art piece handy of you with your non-dominant hand?
No,
nothing handy.
But you can follow me on Instagram.
She's just trying to pump her Insta.
I'm retarded from curiosity. You'll be hearing lots more of me. I've been planning to change the world. Nice to meet you.
She's a marketing wizard.
Oh, okay, great. I guess she's leaving, or she doesn't want to talk to me anymore. That's fine. Either or. That makes sense. I don't know. Do you have anything on your mind, Chris, that you want to talk about?
I have nothing on my mind.
Sorry if I'm not a good podcast host. I'm sorry if I talk about myself too much.
Our flow is very good.
Is it?
I've had podcast conversations where it was a lot of awkward silences, and those are the worst. And this one was good because we didn't stop talking and we got somewhere. Or
maybe I talk about myself too much. I feel like I overpowered you and talked way over you all the time. I'm very sorry. It's about the guest, really.
What?
It's about the guest. No, I really. No, and that's the thing. I guess I turned to video games and I started to play chess online, like to try and like the whole pandemic, I was dating someone that I was engaged to, and then now I have that girl didn't work out, and like now I have someone new. It's like we really spend a lot of time with each other, but it's like there's still like I could talk to her all day, but I still really I like having small conversations with other people too. Mm-hmm. No, I don't know. What have we been doing? We've been talking like once every 3 months. Maybe we'll up that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a podcast. Maybe I'll be on the podcast a few times. Maybe I'll be on once a month.
You and I should podcast every single day together. Perfect. But I'll own it and I'll take credit for everything.
Perfect.
But yeah, and yeah. No,
might even come up with 1 minute that's decent.
Well, my thing is like I used to try to make content, or I had a lot of interviews, but I would get more interviews than I could keep up with editing because I would be such a weird perfectionist about editing, and nothing I ever turned out was like amazing. And if I edited it 10 times shittier, it wouldn't have changed it. So all this stuff will be completely unedited. Like I don't think we dropped any N-bombs, so then we don't need to edit anything out. None of us said nachos, so
love nachos. I just
yeah. What the hell? What was that radio show we went on? And like I was so nervous, and I think I just word vomited, and then I don't think the hosts liked me very much. So then like they just like kept cutting me off, and I was like,
yeah, that was Comics Genius in Calgary.
I don't know. And like I remember the guy, like, what did he say? And then I think he realized I was talking about like how I want to be a big YouTuber one day, and he's like, "You're never gonna be a YouTuber," and I was like, and I don't think he meant to say that, but he like said, I don't know, that was funny. No, those guys were nice guys, but I just thought they thought I was an asshole, so whatever. Probably, I don't know. That was a fun adventure. I never traveled before that, and to me, going from Winnipeg to Edmonton was like a big trip at the time. I think it was like 19.
And then we got all Saskatchewan.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the guy, very nice guy, but I just think we just didn't get along, and it's hard to be in a car with 3 guys. And
you didn't like that he'd drive in the left lane and drive the speed limit in the left lane.
Yeah,
these cars are riding our ass.
No, whatever. No, and then me complaining about it was very passive aggressive and immature too, and I just I don't. Yeah, that was like what, like 8 years ago. I think he's still doing comedy, right? Chris McCullough. It's okay to talk about how we didn't get along. Like, whatever.
Oh, sure. He's not gonna watch it.
Yeah, no one's gonna watch this. No, but what does like I don't know. I really liked some of the acts he did, and I thought he was pretty good. Like,
yeah, he was the neatest thing. I never understood why people didn't like him. He was probably my favorite as far as like he could make me laugh more than anybody else.
I can't. So some sets. So if I were to like really break it down, I found some sets of his were like really good. I found but then I heard he got better and more consistent later. When I was seeing him and when I was doing open mics, I found he was either really hit or really miss. And so that's polar. Like he either went really well or like it was like fucking horrible. And I actually missed.
I love that he tried.
Sorry. Yeah. No.
For big misses because he was taking big swings.
Yeah. Or it was I felt when the crowd lined up when he read it well, then it went well. I actually miss that because it's like a bit of it. Like I don't even think I could do that now. Like going up on stage and talking in front of people. Like, I do really miss doing like stand up as a hobby, and like I of course, like everyone in Winnipeg thought I'd be like some famous comedian, everyone thought they're gonna make it to the top, and there was a lot of like in all art. I've done a couple different art forms and been in a couple different scenes, and like the funny thing about, and it's like this every city everywhere. There's like some people are so delusional about like just and like there's a pretensionist to them, like I'm gonna make it to the top, and like it's like I have actor friends that audition once a year. They don't have a job at all, and they're living at home, and they're just like I know, and they tell people I'm an actor. It's like, yeah, but like you haven't done anything, and you're not even like consistently getting auditions, and it's like, sorry, this is a whole thing to unravel, but yeah, no, I don't know, like I find there was, I don't know, maybe that ego helps people, like the people that got to the top, maybe they had that ego also, but like there was a lot of people that thought they were God's gift to comedy or whatever scene they were in, and they thought, I'm going to make it to the top.
Oh, no. Yeah.
It's a delusion I don't understand, but then maybe it's not a delusion. Maybe it's like a certain amount of ego, and that's, I don't know, I'm sure a lot of people.
Well, some people need it. Otherwise, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not ultra famous or ultra successful in any way, but it's kind of funny because when I was younger, I had this weird need to really, really, really want to be famous, and I feel like I think I become more introverted as I get older.
Well, you realize that you're not like this idea of fame as a goal and a thing that it can be accomplished by a person. That we like because we learned history, we feel like we should be in history books where it's like there are millions of people who have nobody cares about.
I think having an average life is okay, and then maybe a part of it is like, oh, we're just getting older, so we're giving up and we're slowly becoming simps to life and like, oh, it's okay to fail and be a fail. No, I hope we're not doing that. But like an average life is like a car and kids and a happy life and a job. Like there's nothing wrong with. I just found like when I was like 18, 20, that age, a lot of people, and I had a bit of it too, they thought they were too good for any job. It was either like, I'm going to be a millionaire or I'm going to be nothing. And I found a lot of my friends were like that at that time where like they shit on anyone going to school. They shit on anyone having a day job. It's like either I'm going to make it as like a YouTube millionaire or I'm going to live in my mom's basement. And they're like, I just don't want to. There was that saying like, I just don't want to be a normal. I don't want to be normal. I don't want to be like anyone else. It's like, but it's not that bad, like, to be like everyone else. I don't think it's that horrible of a thing to, like, have a kid and raise it and live in a small town like Winnipeg. And I don't know. It's funny because as I've moved away, I actually miss some things about Winnipeg, which I didn't think I would. But I weirdly like the weather there. I'm not trying to sound tough and cool, but the summer or the winters there, I felt tough because I could put up with the -50. The -20 here in some ways is worse than the -50 there because it's like a wet -20. There's like a humidity.
Yeah, you're walking in slush and you just got a soaker.
Yeah, I sound like such an old tourist saying that, but it's like, and then if you get cold here, it takes like 6 hours to like warm up again. I guess I'm just not used to the climate here. I found like I could go in from -50 and my face is all burnt from the cold and the wind, but I'd be warm in like 10 minutes. But like here, I have to take like a steaming hot shower for an hour to get back to normal. So yeah, maybe I'll end with that. I do miss Winnipeg.
Think in about 6 years, you'll think the weather is much better in Montreal in the winter time. My first 6 years here, I was like, winter here is fine. I don't know what people are talking about. Like Ottawa, but now it's like, now winter, I just cry. And it's a hard time. But my first 5 years, I was going out without a sweater on. Just because it's like, at least I'm not getting a soaker from the ground. At least I'm stepping in snow and not slush.
Yeah, no, I find like my feet here are always wet. I don't understand. I'm always like wet. It feels like even if I'm like not in the rain, I'm like in my car and I'm like, why do I feel wet? But it's just there's way more humidity in the air. I'm like I'm used to that cold, dry prairie air. Like the.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so I don't know. I what else? I miss the space. I never got so I grew up outside of Winnipeg in a rural area, and then I moved to Winnipeg. I'm like, oh, wow, Winnipeg's so crowded. Like, this apartment that's 2,000 square feet, it's so small. Or not 2,000, but, like 1,200 square feet I had an apartment. And that's huge, right? With a big, massive balcony. And it's like, oh, man, like, this is not enough space. And then I think I have, like, a 500 square foot apartment here. And I live with, like, another person in that for, like, 9 months. And I'm, like, paying just as much as I was in Winnipeg for my apartment. And yeah, no, and so you just learn that you don't need a lot of shit. You don't need 6 of everything, and like I don't know. So I'm not gonna go into a huge rant about minimalism. But the more shit I sell and get rid of, I am happier because it's less stuff to move around, less stuff to keep track of. Anyways, Chris, Snarky, Remarkable. I have to go because I have to get ready for work, but. Yeah, no, hopefully this turns out okay. I don't even know where I'm going to post this, but I really, as I grow older, I hate crowds of people. People aren't the same. Like talking to 2 people like this that are home, it's great. I like talking to people one-on-one or 2 people at a time. I hate crowds of people. but I really miss talking to people one-on-one. So I think that's, like you said, maybe I'm just trying to make more friends and have an excuse to talk to people. Hey, we should record a song together soon. Totally. I don't know if that's possible. Well, not if I'm not there.
Yeah, we do. Well, yeah. Do you have? That's a nice microphone. You have a computer?
Yeah, I do. It's funny because I bought a gaming PC so I'm like, oh, I want to get back into editing videos. I want to edit 4K, and I want to like stream the odd time to see if I can stream. But I think I have too much. I don't want to say addictive personality, but like I get if I start like a campaign, I will spend the next 3 days of my life playing that game if I don't have work, like 8 hours a day, just to try and beat the campaign so I can get back to my life. I've done nothing with this gaming PC, do nothing but play goddamn games on it all day. And I guess it's the holidays, so I have nothing but time. But yeah. Do I have a computer? Yes. Wow, I should just learn to say yes or no. No, I have an iMac that's 10 years old, so barely. No, a MacBook Pro that's 10 years old, so it barely works. Can't even update it anymore because they don't let me. Because so I have to buy a new one. But yeah, no, I'm returning that gaming PC because I've done nothing but play games and also I guess I have become a Mac person because I just don't understand a lot of things on PC. Like
Macs are so much easier.
And like people call you dumb for being like that, but it's like every program I use on that PC, it crashes. And my buddy's like, "Oh, you just have to download a driver for it." And then you download a driver, and then it like messes up your other program. And you need to download a driver that like coincides with both of them. And it's just like, man, I don't want to spend like an hour looking up tutorials. I just want to use the computer. Any editing program I was using, it kept crashing. And even like games, and it's a gaming PC, and it was like even like games that are like 2 years old and not even that like heavy on the graphics, and I spent like $2,000 on it. So it's like you think any game should just run without crashing, but no. Most games I'd play would just like crash, and I'd be like insanely pissed off all the time. It's like I just buy a PS5 for like $500 if I could actually get a hold of one. But yeah. Anyways, Chris, ciao for now. And
for now
we did like I don't even know how long we did.
I think we did over an hour.
Okay, great. Look at that. Bonne journée. Have a good day. Goodbye. Ciao. End meeting for all.